Hello, welcome once again to Chinese Pod. We come from Shanghai, China. We're doing lessons in spoken Mandarin. We have a newbie lesson today.
Yes, we do.
My name is Ken Carroll, and I am joined by... Say your name, please.
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, hi. Okay, good.
You always give me a long-awaited
I do.
intro.
I like drawing out the introduction to make it sound more formal and more important because you are essentially a VIP around here.
Like you yourself are. We make ourselves
It's a VIPs.
our own VIPs.
Fair enough. And why not?
But
if nobody
you
else
are
does.
all of our VIPs.
Oh, great. This is why it's so fun to work around here. We're all so kind to each other. Now, would you be so kind as to tell us about this lesson, please?
We're taking you to the restaurant.
The restaurant. Yes.
And of course, you have to see a menu. You have to
menu.
ask for a menu.
Okay, good. So the context is asking for a menu
Yes,
in
indeed.
a restaurant. Now, hopefully the menu has some English in it.
Or some photos in it.
Photos, that always works. You know what I find sometimes in menus in Chinese restaurants is, first of all, you open the menu, it's got 1,500 dishes in it. And it's like, oh my God, it's going to take me, a whole day to read through this thing. And if that wasn't bad enough, some of the dishes are complete poetry. I mean, they're not...
the name.
The name doesn't tell you anything.
Like you said, it's a poem.
It's a poem. And you don't know what the
Not
food is.
descriptive at all.
It could be about flowers and birds and flying in the
Snow,
sky.
rain, mountain.
But what is it? And sometimes, that is a lot of the fun, though. And
yes, when you're here for a while, you get a feel for it.
absolutely, there is something absolutely unique about Chinese restaurants. Honestly, they're just the whole philosophy, the entire experience is utterly different than the Western concept, and that's the fun.
Yes. It's very communal.
Absolutely. I think
Loads
communal is the
people,
big thing.
yeah.
Whereas in Western restaurant, they like privacy. You sit in your own table. It's kind of dark and it's a good place to talk, romantic and stuff like that. Chinese restaurants is about noise and food and, and just having fun and just asking people. It's a great place to learn Chinese, of course.
Yes.
And Chinese people love talking about food too because they all know about it. So it's a great place to, for example, go through a menu and look at the words and experiment with them.
Yes.
And,
but let's begin with the basics, asking for a menu.
Indeed. So this is how you ask for a menu. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll listen to this dialogue 3 times and then we'll come back and break it down.
Dialogue first time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的，
Second time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的，
Third time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的。
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
Okay.
Very simple, no fuss.
Yes, and useful. All right. Now, if you would be so kind as to read it, I would be so kind as to translate it.
I am that kind.
Good.
请问有菜单吗？
Excuse me, do you have a menu?
请问有菜单吗？
Excuse me, do you have a menu?
请问有菜单吗？有的，请稍等。
Yes. Please wait a second.
有的，请稍等。
Yes, please wait a moment.
有的，请稍等。好的，
Okay,
好的，
fine.
好的。
Great. So there you are, sitting in the restaurant. You'd like to see the menu,
Yes.
and you ask the question. Now, when you want to ask a question in Chinese, in a slightly more formal sense, or with people not formal,
yeah, you
people
see
you don't
strangers,
know.
yes.
Yeah, indeed. With people you don't know, sort of preview your question by saying,
请问，请问。
请问.
Yes.
Now, 请问 means, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Right? 请 meaning
Please.
and 问
Means ask.
ask. Now, when, not to be confused with the verb to kiss, which is
吻，
吻.
吻。
Now, so remember it's 请问, not 请问. Because 请问 would
Getting
mean,
yourself into a lot of trouble.
what would that essentially mean? It would,
Means
please
the
give us a kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a French kiss. Even juicy.
Well, that's not something you want to be shouting around the restaurant. 请问, please give us a French kiss over here. So, anyway, so remember, 问 is the fourth tone. It's pretty strong. So,
Yes.
again, let's hear that.
请问，
I have to be honest. I mean, I made this mistake in public at one time, many
Went through
moons
your
ago.
hard experience.
It was really embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, and I didn't get kissed. So anyway, so 请问 means, can I ask a question? Now, in this case, the question is,
有菜单吗？有菜单吗？
now, the verb for menu is
菜单，菜单。
菜单. Great. Fourth tone and first tone.
Correct.
菜单, 菜 meaning food, and 单
Yes.
meaning kind of like a
List.
Food list. 菜单. Now, the verb to have is
有
有.
有，third tone.
Great.
Third.
Third tone. 有菜单. And so the question at the end is
吗？
ma. So, 请问有菜单吗 means
Excuse me, do you have a menu?
correct. Very good.
And in a Chinese restaurant, quite often you do have to ask because the size of the restaurant is normally quite challenging, daunting. And it's not uncommon that waiters don't really see
That's right.
a new coming.
That's right.
Coming guest.
You could be sitting there for a while.
Yes.
And it's noisy. So you have to sort of, call for it.
Yeah.
So that's how you say it. So let's hear that one more time.
请问有菜单吗？
Great. Now you're likely to get this response.
有的，请稍等。
Great. Now the verb was, when you ask the question, you use the verb 有, meaning to have. And so the question was, do you have a menu? Now, in Chinese, it's very common that you answer with the same verb as the one in the question. So you also answer with the verb 有. And the short and sweet answer was
有的，有的。
有的. Now, basically it means we have. Okay, that is a particle. It's not meaningful in that sense. It just indicates, yes, we have. The verb 有 meaning to have. Now, he's going to also ask you to please wait for a second. And so he says,
请稍等，请稍等。
请, again, meaning please. And 稍等, meaning wait a second.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about those two pieces, 稍 and 等.
稍等. The first part, 稍 means a little bit.
A little bit. Good.
And 等 means to wait.
The verb to wait. Great. So please wait a second. Please wait a moment is again.
请稍等.
请稍等. Great.
Correct.
Now you'll hear that again, very, very high frequency, and it's a very useful phrase. Now in response, of course, you want to be polite, and so you say,
好的，好的。
好的. Now 好 means good.
Yep.
And 好的 means essentially, I agree, that's fine, no problem. 好的. Okay, that's your first restaurant dialogue right there.
Yes, indeed.
Let's listen to it 3 more times.
Dialogue first time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的。
Second time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的。
Third time.
请问有菜单吗？
有的，请稍等。
好的。
Hey, Tom!
Oh, Tammy, how's it going?
Ni hao, ni hao. How's your Chinese coming along?
Well, I gave up.
真的吗? Chinese pod no longer?
Well, really, I was so busy, I didn't have the time.
Not the time. You don't have 90 seconds per day?
90 seconds?
Yes, 90 seconds. So you did not try Chinese Pod Recap? This app, you can insert your learning experience whenever you have even just a little window of time.
90 seconds are enough to go through bite-sized pieces and recap your lessons in Chinese Pod Recap, the app for busy learners that want to use little breaks to refresh what they learned. Chinese Pod Recap synchronizes to your phone so you have what's relevant for you available even if you have no internet connectivity, like on planes or in the deepest tunnels of the new subway.
Okay, great stuff. Let's run through some of the vocab, if you don't mind. Now, you want to ask a question, you say,
请问,请问,
请问, and that's fourth tone on the one. Now, the menu,
菜单,菜单,
菜单,
yes.
great. The word for please,
请,请,
and the verb to wait a second.
稍等,稍等,
Great. And when you're in agreement, you can say,
好的,
好的.
好的.
Great. Well, hope that was useful.
Useful in the middle of a noisy, bustling Chinese
Indeed.
restaurant.
Indeed. Great place to be if you want to learn
Yeah.
and eat. And maybe have a drink there too. I mean, that's where Chinese people, they don't drink in pubs. You know, you
Yes.
don't have beer in pubs or anything like that. But you certainly have it at a meal, and that can get really funny. That can
Yes,
get
hard
real.
liquor. Bring out hard liquor.
That's when the real fun starts. But anyway, great place to practice your Chinese.
And get drunk with your Chinese friends.
Indeed. Great. Okay. So in the meantime, don't forget to go to ChinesePod.com. You can drill down
Yeah.
and explore.
There are loads and loads of things
Yes.
you can do.
Endless things to be done there to explore this language. Also, visually, I think the visual aspect is important to learning. And learning anything.
And the tags.
Indeed.
Grammar.
So you can search and do all the stuff you need to do. We will be back again tomorrow.
Yes.
But in the meantime, it is time for us to say 再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 0005. Just go to www.chinesepod.com/0005 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/0005.